everyone. This is Robyn and welcome to mypinkstamper.com. Today I am going to do another fun Stamp With Me series. And how this is going to work is I'm going to share all of the materials that I'm using, but I'm going to challenge you to grab what you have in your craft area if you don't own this product yet and kind of create something on your own. My main focus today really is the designer series paper or the pattern paper. I know we have a lot of it in our craft rooms that we love so much, maybe some that you're hoarding and you never want to use. I challenge you to pull it out. Let's use it today. We're going to be doing a little bit of heat embossing. If you don't have heat embossing, just do your regular stamping on the paper on your card and use whatever colors that you'd like. I'm going to show you an alternate card at the very end using different designer series paper and a whole different color palette just to kind of give you an idea of where you can go from here, from this idea. If you'd like to purchase any of the product you see in today's video, you can find it directly on my shopping page, shop.mypinkstamper.com. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm only using one stamp on this whole entire card, and I'm using the Hello from Biggest Wish. This is one of our newer stamp sets in our annual catalog, and I love it because it's so bold. But then you also have this font down here to kind of switch it up a little bit. So I'm just using the Hello. And I'm going to be doing a little bit of heat embossing using our Basics embossing powder. I'm using the white. And then I'm also using the Versamark for that when we get there. Okay, so I have it like this because I wanted to cut it out. I pulled out some of my scraps that we're going to be using. We'll cut all of the paper first. Now, sometimes you just have little scraps you want to use up. I didn't have a scrap of this, and I really wanted to use this piece of designer series paper. It's one of my favorites. Been hoarding it a little bit, so I pulled it out for this. I'm like, oh, this would be great. I haven't made a card in this design yet, so this will all be new to me as well. I made one in a different color palette that has pink, of course, but I wanted to pull out some greens and purples as well. So I'm going to just cut a little strip or pull out your strips that you have, and we're going to cut 1.5 inches. Now, what you might want to do is kind of base everything around your paper that you pull out. So, for example, I pulled out this paper first, and then I also pulled out this from the same collection, but you could also pull out a color from your paper that you're using. And then I decided what I wanted my base of my card to be, and then the layers, they're all pulled from this, okay? So that kind of helps you with when you're a little bit stumped on what colors you should use for any of your projects. It could be a scrapbook page or anything. So this is going to be 1.5 inches. So I can actually make, let's see, I can make quite a bit. I think 16, I could use it for 16 cards, which is awesome. So 1.5 inches, and it's going to be by 5 across. Okay, so I have it at 5 up here. And now I'm going to use just this other piece that I have that I thought would be really fun. It'll pull out some different greens. I just need 1/2 inch. So let me do that, and then it'll be 1/2 inch by 5 inches. I hope you guys are having a great summer. I have had so much fun this summer, just designing, creating, hanging out with my family. It's fun to be in my craft space today, though. All right, what am I doing next? Okay, this piece here, this is Fresh Freesia, and it's one of the colors. For your main piece, you might want to pull out designer series paper or pattern paper that has a lot of different colors that you can use. This one is going to be cut down to 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Just like this, okay? Set that aside. And then this piece is Evening Evergreen, and it's a darker color. I didn't want it to be my main color for this card, but I could have easily. But I wanted this is going to go behind this piece here. So it's 4 inches by 5 1/4. Let me get that right there. Okay. And then my card base is going to be just a piece of our thick basic white. It's 5.5 by 8.5 inches. And I'm going to score it at 4 1/4. This is our paper trimmer, and I love it because it has a cutting and a scoring blade. So I can just score it, gives it a little bit of an indentation. So then I can fold it like that. Okay, set that aside. Now let's go ahead and do our stamping. There's only one stamp on this whole entire card. And I told you I'm using the Hello. And I'm going to stamp it. So pull out your sentiments. Maybe you pulled out a stamp set that has sentiments or or you just have a sentiment stamp set that's a good size. This one I wanted it to be nice and bold because I am going to be embossing with the white embossing powder. So something that is not too light, so I wouldn't have pulled out white for this. But this one should pick it up just fine. All right, I'm going to grab my Versamark, and I'm inking up the hello. I'm going to stamp on the bottom right corner, leaving about maybe 1/4 of an inch around it. And then I'm just going to use the white. Now this is not clear, it's white. So when I heat emboss it, it's going to melt all those little crystals and it's going to pop out. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'm not going to speed this up. Now, if you choose not to emboss this card, if you're making this with me, just use an ink pad that coordinates with your designer series paper. Okay, so let's go ahead and I just like to point it. And I feel the heat tool is very therapeutic. I love heat embossing. And there's different ways to heat emboss. I just like to point it at my powder. You can see it melting, and you see how that's just popped now? It's so fun. When I was first introduced to Stampin' Up! Many years ago, my daughter's 23 and she was under 1. This is what got me, was somebody stamped a white butterfly and they embossed it. That's all they did. And I'm like, I'm sold. I want to do this. I love it. And I never looked back, right? Okay, so this is the hello, and we're going to go ahead and add this on here. This is a simple card, but it's stepped up a little bit. So if you're thinking, oh, I'd like to make a set of cards for my neighbors this summer, or school's about to start where you are. Our school starts for my boys. I still have 2 that are in school out of my 5 kids, and their school starts in a month. So, but they're older, so they have different, I don't know if they want me to make their teacher sets of cards. I might make some of them, just not all of them. But when they were little, I used to make sets of cards all the time for the teachers, all the time. I was a class mom one year, and it was so fun. But this would be a really good, easy design that you can create. So now I just put this on top. So isn't that fun already? I love it already. I haven't even made this card yet. I'm making it for the first time with you with these colors. And I love how it's turning out. Comment below if you're making this with me or if you plan on making a card similar. I'd love to hear that. I love to hear from you. I love to read all of your comments. If you're not a subscriber yet and this just popped up in your feed, don't forget to click subscribe and the little bell so you're notified when I have a new video. Sometimes I post 2 or 3 videos a week, sometimes a couple of months. So it'll let you know when I'm posting a new video. Okay, do you see how I'm kind of layering these up? And I'm using, this is our Stampin' Seal adhesive. And I'm just putting this on here. And I gave you the sizes earlier. So there's this simple card with me. And I hope you have come up with something simple as well. I'm going to show you another card that I made, and I pulled out different designer series paper that I had a ton of scraps of. And I made this hello card. So if you notice, it looks different, but basically it's the same layout, this is the same. I just changed up and switched up the colors that I was using. So that's kind of a helpful tip for you. If you're ever in a slump and you don't know what colors go together, pull out a piece of, especially Stampin' Up's designer series paper. It always has our coordinating cardstock and ink within, and then you can just pull out those colors and work with it. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you have a wonderful day, and you can find more of my videos and projects and weekly giveaways on my website, mypinkstamper.com, or you can shop directly on my shopping page, shopmypinkstamper.com. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.